This meeting is being recorded.
Holy crap. All right, Zoom. We get it. On one side is this meeting is being recorded. On the other hand is this meeting is being recorded.
Jesus, it sounded like Karen saying, "This is being recorded. Make sure you're paying attention, please."
Yes. Can I speak to your manager? We're being recorded. Anyways, happy holidays, everybody, from your Yellow Card Podcast crew. It's your boy Diego, Chris Jones in the building. How we doing, sir? How you doing?
We're here. We're back. The World Cup is finally over.
World Cup is finally over, done and over with. We got a lot to talk about today. Want to talk about Qatar, everything that we thought of it, and soccer might be done in terms of international level, but it's not done in terms of national levels, as the Premier League returns this Monday, immediately after the Christmas holiday here in the U.S. It's Boxing Day over in the U.K., Boxing Day action. Why not? So, Jones, let's talk about a little bit of a World Cup. First of all, congratulations to Argentina winning the third World Cup. We all kind of saw that coming. We all kind of predicted it coming forward and whatnot. Congratulations to Kylian Mbappe being one of the very first young players, 23 years old. Well, now 24, which, by the way, happy birthday, Kylian Mbappe, celebrating it today on December 20th. As we record, it's 7:45 here in Boston, 7:45 Eastern time. Kylian Mbappe being the first 24-year-old to have a hat trick at a World Cup final since I think it was like 1986, something like that, some random statistic like that.
Something crazy, yeah.
But anyways, you know, what do we think about Qatar? I'll start with you. I have a long-winded answer, but I could probably shorten it down as I think of what I want to say a little bit more in depth and listen to what you have to say.
You shorting something down, it really is a Christmas present.
It really is. Yep. I got on the good list.
No, I think realistically here, I think Qatar is very good. It's definitely one of the probably safest World Cups that we've had in time to time. I don't think I've heard of any altercations in the stands or anything like that have happened throughout there. So I think take that in consideration. I think the World Cup final is probably one of the best that I've ever seen. I don't think anything could realistically top that. I understand you have your issues with certain things. I'll let you get into that once I'm done here. But I think overall, I thought, getting Morocco in the tournament, Morocco finishing in the Final Four, I think was good for the tournament. That Cinderella story, we all love to see it. And I think right now, at the end of the day, the GOAT discussion is over and done with. Lionel Messi is officially the GOAT.
All right.
I was Team Ronaldo for years, but Ronaldo does not have a World Cup.
I can agree with that in a certain aspect. All right, so Qatar 2022 for me. I think the quality of football that we watched this past almost month of international duty was excellent. A lot of teams surprised with major names now that we will see probably be big ticket items in the January transfer window as it transpires. Quality of football was great. Quality of goalkeeping was good as well. A lot of very good goalkeepers that came up to make a great name for themselves. Jan Sommer, Bono from Morocco, Hugo Lloris, even more of a valuable player now for Tottenham. The list goes on and on and on and on. Unfortunately, there seems to be a lot of negatives about this Qatar World Cup that I'm kind of feeding into, because I'm seeing the realistic aspect of it. Number one, the refereeing in this World Cup, horrible. There was maybe 2 or 3 very good referees that didn't get a lot of action in this World Cup and maybe should have gotten some more. The rest of the VAR calls, the rest of the examinations in certain plays and all that stuff, just really bad quality stuff that kind of takes away from the quality of football that was played throughout this World Cup. The second aspect of that is, yeah, the final was good and all. I think it definitely drove the adrenaline aspect of things. As we saw France kind of show why they are such a fierce national team. But in reality of it, it still kind of showed its ugly face of being a fixed game. We saw a very strong Argentina show up out of nowhere in the first quarter. I mean, in the first half, I should say. France kind of just backing off and not attacking as much, which it's very unlike France. France has been nothing short of what exactly a high pressing system looks like in any type of football that you play right now. Seeing Oliver Giroud come out of the pitch at the second half, that tells you just how much more drama was to be unfolded in that World Cup final. Kylian Mbappe being made out to be one of the main reasons why France was even a contender to be a World Cup finalist, which nothing wrong with that. The guy has a lot of talent at 23 years old. I think he is the next greatest footballer of our era. Nothing wrong with that, and I'm not going to take away from his quality, but I think it really narrows down to how fixed and corrupted this World Cup was. To top it all off, when you look at the celebrations of this World Cup, you see individuals that are just poised with money being part of these celebrations, and they had nothing to do with, honestly, with anything that the World Cup even involves. Like, for example, a somewhat iconic figure in social media, the Salt Bay, right? Surrounding himself around the World Cup and touching the World Cup, kissing the World Cup and all that stuff. We saw some videos that, yeah, in a way the players look uncomfortable, but you know that the players had to know that this guy was going to be involved anyways. This guy's one of those guys that drives a lot of money, probably invested a lot into the World Cup. And quite frankly, I mean, not for nothing, and not because I'm a Ronaldo fan or anything to do with that. I do think I said it previously. I think the biggest mistake for Portugal was their tactics and their coach getting in his way. But overall, I mean, if you look at the main sponsor of the Qatar World Cup, Qatar Airways, if you look at it from a perspective of money and how everything has been driven, it really came down to being almost a Barcelona versus PSG final. Barcelona was sponsored by Qatar Airways for years when Lionel Messi was there. PSG is now sponsored by Qatar Airways. If you look at the finalists, the final three, I mean, you look at even maybe the final four too: Croatia, Morocco, France, and Argentina. A lot of players from those national teams that are currently sponsored by Qatar Airways. The last part that really irritated me about this World Cup is the cultural aspect of things. When a prolific player like Lionel Messi is lifting a trophy, when have we ever seen in any World Cup, no matter what the culture is, where the jersey of the player is basically covered by a mantle that doesn't even allow for generations to know moving forward who that player was lifting that World Cup? You talk about a country that wants to portray to the world that they're moving forward with their culture and they're a country of freedom and open-mindedness, but how much freedom and open-mindedness are you really portraying when you do that type of move? How much freedom can you really show when, for example, a player like from the Iranian national team is now facing potential death penalty for supporting women's rights in the World Cup, and nobody even defended his point of view? It's unrealistic. This World Cup for me has been nothing but problematic. In terms of football, again, like I said, the quality was phenomenal. We saw a lot of great players that we already knew were great show why they're great. and we already saw a lot of players that were kind of undermined and under the scope become more the reason why we should be looking their way. Overall, though, I think back to your point, Jones, about your GOAT argument. I think there's still a little bit of an argument to be made for Ronaldo. When you look at the quality of player that he's been, in terms of winning trophies in other leagues, there's an argument to be had there. He's won trophies with the Spanish league, so has Lionel Messi. He's won trophies with the Italian league. Lionel Messi has yet to do that. He's won a bunch of Champions Leagues titles, which Lionel Messi has a few, but not as many as Ronaldo does. Lionel Messi has yet to win a title in England. Cristiano Ronaldo has done that. Lionel Messi has yet to show us why, if he can endure a fast-paced league like the Premier League. He's never done that. Ronaldo has shown it at the age of 38 here in the Premier League. There's a lot that Messi still has to prove. But certainly winning the World Cup, though, does give him an edge where some people would say he is the undisputed GOAT.
So I think
excuse me.
One of the things I can counter with here, right? Just hold on, make sure my facts are right here. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So
I'm
he's won
I'm just glad you can count out loud.
So he's won the Ballon d'Or 7 times already, right?
Who's that? Messi or Ronaldo?
Lionel Messi.
Yep.
Ronaldo has won it.
I think 5 times.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So he's won it 5 times.
Yep.
Okay. So you're going to tell me that Messi at age 35 right now, right?
Yep.
Goes out and wins the Copa America.
Okay, Ronaldo has won a Euro.
Okay, but you don't let me finish. In one season, he's won Copa America, he's won World Cup, and he's probably going to win the Ballon d'Or. So he's going to get his 8th Ballon d'Or. Listen, I hate it more than anybody. I'm a Ronaldo guy. But Messi is right now, in my head, the GOAT because he is going to do something. So Ronaldo won the Euro, 16?
Yes, something that Portugal hadn't done ever, I think.
Correct. So he won it in 16 with them. He also won Ballon d'Or that year. Cool. He didn't win the World Cup, though. The World Cup means just a little bit more in the overall scheme of things. So the fact that Lionel Messi has one now makes it really hard for me to have an argument with someone that Cristiano Ronaldo is better all time than he is.
Okay, then would you say, though, that if it had been Mbappe to have win that World Cup, his second World Cup, and being under 25 years old,
Mbappe's already
Mbappe would be the GOAT over Messi?
Mbappe's a top 5 player all time currently. Can work his way up higher.
Yeah.
If he won 2 in a row, I think he would have been above Messi for me already.
I can see why. Yeah.
So I think, realistically speaking, if we're looking at the GOATs of all time, I think in order now, it goes 5 Mbappe, it goes Maradona, Pele, Ronaldo, Messi.
I go a little bit differently. Messi has yet to win 3 World Cups. Pele did that. So Pele's still the greatest of all time in my head. It goes Messi, Maradona, Ronaldo, and Mbappe still.
But
I do agree. Mbappe's top 5 for sure.
Did you just put Messi in front of Cristiano Ronaldo?
Because of that World Cup title.
Okay, so then what are we having an argument about then?
But for me, he still has a little bit more to prove. He's at 35 years old with a World Cup that anybody can argue it was rigged. for Argentina's pathway.
See, if it was rigged for Argentina, how did Mbappe get 2 penalties out of it?
They had no other choice, dude. Those penalties were clear as day. If they hadn't called it, that would have been even more of a problematic World Cup final.
Yeah, you're gonna say that Kingsley Coman just absolutely laid off of a ball and let Emilio Martinez block it. And
That wasn't Kingsley Coman. Oh, and the penalties.
Yes,
I
and
thought
the penalties.
I thought you were talking about the last play of the game.
No.
No, that last play was just a pure save by Emiliano Martinez. That is
Literally, if you compare that to any other terms, that is LeBron blocking Andre Iguodala in the NBA Finals.
absolutely, yeah, absolutely.
That's the type of level of save that was.
Yeah.
It's crazy. Between that and Lloris's save on Messi before Messi scored his second goal, that was a missile, and Lloris got a hand on. I think we can have an argument. Obviously, Pelé. But I think in the modern day, it's tough to do what Lionel Messi has done. Obviously, back in the day,
here's another question.
But think of it like this: back in the day, Brazil was a top team, and they were winning all the time. Argentina has been a top team since the Maradona days. They've once Maradona left, they took a step back. Messi helped them carry up, and if it wasn't for Lionel Messi, they wouldn't have won the World Cup this year.
I would say even way before Messi, because then you're disregarding people like Gabriel Batistuta, you've disregarded Roman Riquelme, you've disregarded Veroni, you're disregarding a bunch of people that still qualified Argentina into even semifinals. Way before even Messi was brought up.
Hello.
Because if you look at the era of Ronaldo, Rivaldo, and Ronaldinho, their only competition at the time was Argentina. Their only competition at that era. And that was what? 1994 to 2002.
Mm-hmm.
That's 8 years of heavy competition. 2002 on to 2010. That's competition where still you have Ronaldinho. Now you have Robinho coming up. You have now Kaká coming up. You have a bunch of other players coming up. And still the biggest competition at the time for Brazil was at that time, in that time period from 2002 to 2000, maybe 12, was an even split between Argentina and Uruguay, because Uruguay had a golden era at the time. And then you're looking at it now. The only competition in South America for Argentina arguably is Brazil. And I think that if Brazil and Argentina were to have a match today with the same exact team that Argentina had for the World Cup versus the Brazil that we saw in the World Cup, I think we potentially see Brazil winning.
No, but okay, so this counters my Pelé point, right? Back then, how many different teams could have actually won the World Cup over Brazil?
I mean, there were still teams that won the World Cup over Brazil. There was Italy, there was England. I mean, not England. There was Uruguay.
You're not answering my question. Brazil was dominant in every single one of those World Cups that they won with Pelé. Who in their right mind can say that today they could do that? It's harder to win a World Cup today than it was back then.
Yeah.
And that's why it means a little bit more to Messi. If Mbappe's rattling off 2 World Cup wins back to back, it's hard to do. In today's game, it's hard to do. So the fact that Mbappe had the chance to do that makes it puts him up a little higher. But at the end of the day, he didn't get it done.
Let me ask you this. Say this is not Ronaldo's final World Cup. He plays one more and he stretches it until the age of 41, which is exactly how he would be at that World Cup. And he goes out to win the World Cup with Portugal.
But see, it depends on
bench player, just being a bench player. Let's say Ronaldo goes out to win the World Cup in 2026.
Nope.
Does that make Ronaldo?
No, doesn't put him over Messi because he wasn't a focal point for them winning the World Cup. Messi was a focal point of them winning the World Cup.
I would say for Argentina, there was 3 people that were the focal point for them winning the World Cup. Emiliano Martinez, and Julian Alvarez.
Mm-hmm.
Julian Alvarez was clinical in several of those games where Lionel Messi was somewhat MIA. Was Lionel Messi in top form in this World Cup? Absolutely. There's no No questioning that. He was in very good form. He was
He was
probably
hungry. He wanted. It's the one thing, the one trophy he hasn't had.
he was
Of
probably
course
the
he was.
20 year he was probably the 25 to 28-year-old version that we saw of him in Barcelona.
Correct.
But out of
But
that,
also, too, you got to think about it like this: if I look at the cast of players that a team like a guy like Pelé has had in his career with Brazil, going up against what Messi has had for this World Cup, I would say that Messi had to do more because, not saying the talent wasn't there, but it wasn't up to the level that Pelé had when he was playing for Brazil.
yeah, I would agree with that. Yeah, I would agree.
So that's my argument right there. End of discussion. I'm not diving into more about it.
Now, do we think there's still an argument to be had between Kylian Mbappe and Erling Haaland?
No,
I don't think so either. I think Kylian
No.
Mbappe is greater
No.
than Haaland any day, any moment.
At a European level, no. Club level, I would love to see Kylian Mbappe do what he does in the international level. The club level, somewhere besides PSG.
Yep.
Because if he did it at, say, just hypothetically, Real Madrid, if he did everything that he did club level for Real Madrid, it would mean more because it would be La Liga titles over Ligue 1. Everybody knows that means more. Better chances for him to win Ballon d'Or. And the big thing, the big reason why he and Haaland are still in the same quote-unquote tier to people is because neither of them have won a Champions League. So when Mbappe wins that Champions League, that discussion's over with.
Yep.
It's already over with. But for the casuals that like Erling Haaland, because all he does is score goals,
I still think that if Mbappe doesn't even win a Champions League, but manages to win a second or third World Cup, that guy is
Agreed.
undisputably the greatest player of our current era right now at this moment. Because
we're
there's
talking
nobody
about
else.
the 2020s, absolutely, 100%.
There's nobody else step into the same plate as him. Not Bruno Fernandes, not Frankie de Jong, not Erling Haaland, not Jude Bellingham, not even God. There's a lot of names that I could
Not
be
even Harry
mentioning. Not
Kane.
enough. I wouldn't even put Harry Kane into that list. That's disrespecting that list.
The English would, man.
I put Jude Bellingham over Harry Kane any day.
Hello. Love to see Jude Bellingham in an on-field red. That's all I'll say.
I'd say if Jude Bellingham decides his future and goes to any of the top tier teams like Liverpool, Real Madrid, Bayern Munich, maybe even Manchester United, if they transform this year or next year, he would be unreal.
I just think it makes sense for him to play in England.
Oh, absolutely.
It would be a bigger draw for whatever team gets him because he's an England boy.
My only problem with that is the English league right now, because it's such a physically driven league right now, there's a higher risk for injury. And an injury to Jude Bellingham, depending on the level of it, could be catastrophic to his career.
Yeah, I don't know. You never know.
But,
all right,
so speaking of English, oh yeah, no. I mean, congratulations anyways to Lionel Messi. Honestly, out of that Argentinian team, there's a lot of great players to still get honorable mentions for. I mean, you look at Nicolas Tagliafico from Ajax. He was phenomenal, clinical in the right wing. Lisandro Martinez showing exactly why a manager like Ten Hag made him a priority to be signed over at Manchester United. You look at the midfield, Rodrigo de Paul was really good. Di Maria, that's another story that goes heavily disregarded there. Angel Di Maria gave a lot for Argentina, and this guy showed up in the final when he was needed. A lot of critiques, especially in the Argentine media and press, over Angel Di Maria, but he silenced those critiques with the best class performance that he delivered in a World Cup final or in a World Cup tournament overall. He was sensational this World Cup. Obviously, there's Messi. Enzo Fernandez was strategic in the midfield for Argentina. Julian Alvarez was phenomenal as well. I hate giving credit to to this punk Emiliano Martinez, but I just can't deny his talent.
Don't. Just ignore what happened. Just move on. Just move on.
I just hope to God that this guy can focus on getting his mind right and focusing on maturing and less running the mouth and keep doing what you're doing. You're a great goalkeeper, but your personality just fucking ruins it all, man. Anyways, let's move over to England because we're talking about England just recently.
England is my city.
Yep. Let's talk over Premier League action. To update our fans with our record. I'm currently at 74 and 60. Jones is not trailing that far behind at 65 and 69. And one final update for World Cup finals. For our World Cup records, we ended up at myself at 33 and 29, Jones at 29 and 33.
How?
Because we only did the semifinals. We never predicted a final.
Yeah, but I picked Argentina and France.
No, you picked Croatia and France. You had Croatia winning over Argentina.
Oh, I said if I were picking with my heart, I would take Croatia, but I'm picking with my head and I'm taking Argentina.
Either way, 30 and 32 for Jones. 33 and 29 for me. All right. Let's go over to the Premier League real quick. As we mentioned, we got action on Boxing Day over in England. Nice and early slate for majority of the program. So, Jones, why don't you run us over the matches and let's get some predictions going.
First one, we got Brentford and Tottenham. Tottenham is the favorite here at Brentford. What do we got?
I'm going 2-1 Tottenham. I think a lot of their roster right now is hungry to get back in action. A lot of their roster is very fit as well. Versus a Brentford that unfortunately a long break like this is a little bit detrimental. So I'm going 2-1 Tottenham.
I'm gonna go 2-0. I think I'd put a higher score if it was at Tottenham. I think Harry Kane and Heung-min Son are very much so, like you said, they're hungry. And even Richarlison, especially after not being able to bring home the cup for Brazil. I like Tottenham in this one. I think they win all right. Give me 2-0.
2-0. All right.
Crystal Palace hosting Fulham.
Go first. I need to blow my nose. I got a cold, so go first.
Jesus Christ. Can't do anything with this kid. Diego the DJ, what a hoodie. What does the front of your hoodie say?
What?
What's the front of your hoodie say?
Oh, buddy. All right, since we got a little bit of a distraction going on because I needed to blow my nose, I might as well show a little bit of merchandise. And if you're listening out there, I know that he's not a soccer fan, but DJ Saucytron in Boston, you can find him on Instagram and all those platforms. Just look up Saucytron. He has his own merchandise firm. He does a lot of printing, a lot of great swag. He hooked me up with this beautiful hoodie that you see me rocking right now. And the initials are just a very nice and kind manner to remind you that I'm on my way to fuck your bitch.
See, I saw the lettering, and the first thing I thought of was Juicy. So I thought you were wearing a sweatshirt that said Juicy with your logo on the back. I was about to say, dude, what year is it? Because if you're rocking Juicy sweatshirts, man, we got issues.
Right.
So Crystal Palace and Fulham, I'll go first. Sorry, I got distracted there. Crystal Palace is gonna keep this really, really close. Fulham is very good. Struggles on the road though. It's at Crystal Palace. Crystal Palace 2, Fulham 1.
Wow. Okay. The scoring begins, but this time I'm gonna go 2-1 Fulham.
Ooh, spicy. Everton and Wolves at Everton.
Yeah, Wolves right now with a shiny new toy and Julian Lopetegui as their new head coach. Unfortunately for Everton, it's historical for Everton. Long breaks like this never helps them out at all. With Wolves trying to recreate a new image for their club and having worked a lot on their fitnessing over this period, especially in Spain. I think this game ends up in a draw where they don't hurt each other, but it's a good game for Wolves to start bouncing back. 1-1 draw.
See, I originally had it as a draw because I read it wrong and I thought it was at Wolves. It's at Everton. I'm going Everton 2-0.
Okay.
Leicester hosting Newcastle.
Yeah. I'm going 3-1 Newcastle. The form of the majority of this team is excellent. Leicester still need a lot to redo their roster. So Newcastle is what? Top 4 right now?
Third.
Exactly. So I don't see them slowing down right now. So
Don't forget, Leicester was sitting at one point 1-2-7. They won 4 out of the last 5. They play really well at home. I think Newcastle wins, but it's a lot closer than you're giving them credit for. I think Newcastle squeaks out 2-1.
2-1. All right.
Southampton and Brighton.
I got Brighton at this one. 3-0.
Jesus. It's at Southampton.
I know it is, but this Southampton team is not the same. You no longer have Ralph Hasenhuttl, who always marked in the minds of Southampton players to respect your own home turf. It's a new era at Southampton. A lot of these players had a long break, not a lot of fitness and reporting or anything to do there. While Brighton, on the other hand, are continuing with their program that Graham Potter left. This is a perfect opportunity for Brighton to show why they're a top developing class club like they are right now in the Premier League.
I'm going to go Brighton, but I'm going to go close because Southampton traditionally plays well at home. I'll go Brighton 1-0.
All right.
Next one, Aston Villa hosting Liverpool.
I'm giving this one to Liverpool 3-2. A lot of Liverpool has some very good players right now coming back. I think we see great performances from the Brazilians and even the English people in Liverpool.
I think a guy like Darwin Núñez is very much so hungry after the way the Uruguay went out. I'm going to go Liverpool 2-0 in this one. Okay. I don't think that putt Martinez plays either. Arsenal, West Ham.
I'm going with a shocker here with a 1-0 win by West Ham. I think Arsenal is heavily dependent on their Brazilians right now. With Gabriel Jesus being out for a while, I think this deeply hurts Arsenal in their performance.
Yeah, he's gonna knee. They'll also be without Smith Rowe as well. He's got a groin.
Yep.
I still think they're good enough. It's at home. I'm gonna go Arsenal 2-1. Oh shit, I missed again. Chelsea and Bournemouth.
I'm giving Chelsea the win here, but not much. Going with a 1-0 Chelsea win.
Rattle it off. As you take a puff, rattle it off. 1-0. Chelsea close one. Bournemouth's gonna play them tough on the road.
Yeah.
United and Nottingham Forest.
United has a lot of players coming back from the World Cup with a lot of hunger and in top form. Meanwhile, for Nottingham Forest, not a lot coming back for them. I'm going with United 2-0.
Rattle it off. Rattle it off. Listen, like you said, Bruno Fernandes and company are coming back. They're gonna want this win more than ever. And I think Jadon Sancho is ready to prove himself to that idiot Gareth Southgate that he deserves to be on the pitch more.
Well, funny you mentioned Jadon Sancho. A lot of reports and a lot of it was missed during the World Cup because it wasn't probably as prolific as it maybe should have been. But Ten Hag sent Sancho over to the Netherlands to be conditioned for his fitness and all that stuff, and to get his mentality in the right place, because for a while Sancho has been mentally unfit and physically unfit too for the team, and Ten Hag sees a lot of value on him. This just shows you how much this manager cares for his team and what he wants to do. So,
all right, last one. Leeds hosting Manchester City.
Same scenario for Manchester City. A lot of hungry players, a well-rested Erling Haaland, and a World Cup winning Julian Alvarez for Manchester City. It's lethal. I'm going 3-1 Manchester City. Rattle it off!
Rattle it off, baby. Last three, same team, same score, same reason. Jesus. Listen, we haven't picked an EPL game in over a month, and yet we're still in rare form.
It's ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous. Anyways, that does it for episode 9 of season 2 of the Yellow Card Podcast. Make sure that you're following us on our socials at Podcast Card on Twitter, at Yellow Card Pod on TikTok, YouTube, and Spotify under Yellow Card Podcast. Make sure you subscribe, follow, whatever you need to do. Make sure you get all the notifications. But until then, signing off, Chris Jones on my left, on your right on your screens, Diego the DJ. Until next week, happy holidays, everybody. Merry Christmas, happy Kwanzaa, whatever you're celebrating. Thank you all. See you later.